All right, welcome to the picture of major arteries of the trunk. So this is some of the thoracic and abdominal pelvic cavity. So again, I'm just gonna go in alphabetical order of the blood vessels that we can see in this diagram. So again, we can identify the aorta, ascending, aorta arch, thoracic, abdominal pelvic, or all of this could be considered descending. So that's your aorta. Coming off of the aorta, we have quite a bit of branches, and then the aorta eventually splits down on itself. So the first one alphabetically that we'll see is what's called the celiac trunk. So the celiac trunk is this little, let me erase my line on the aorta. It's just this little tree trunk that's kind of coming off right below the diaphragm. And then it splits into three smaller, the left gastric, the splenic, and the common hepatic, which are not on your list. So all you need to be able to identify is that little trunk that's coming off anteriorly of the aorta, just below the diaphragm. Okay. When we do come down to the base of the aorta, it splits into our common iliac right here. So it's the splitting of the aorta, kind of right at the beginning of the sacrum, like at L5-S1 area of your spinal column. These do split into your internal and external iliacs, but that's going to be shown on a different picture. Some other branches coming off of the aorta, we have the gonadal, which is this little guy right here. We also have the inferior and superior mesenteric. So there's inferior right here, inferior mesenteric, and superior mesenteric right here. We can also see some of the intercostal arteries. We saw that in the prior picture, but now we can see them in this view. These really nice thin blood vessels that are associated with the ribs. We can see the renal arteries coming off laterally. So the renal arteries feed directly into the kidneys. And I think those are all the blood vessels from this diagram that's on your list. So this area here has got a lot of stuff going on with it. So you might be able to make yourself a map or kind of identify the key blood vessels, maybe from a top to bottom view. So diaphragm is a good landmark. So then you might be saying, okay, so from diaphragm down, I have the celiac trunk. I have superior mesenteric, renal, gonadal, inferior mesenteric. If you can make a mnemonic or some kind of way to remember that, that would be very helpful. All right, so I will end here and then we'll move on to the more specific, I believe there should be another picture of the abdominal cavity. Let's see. Yes, so we'll cover this one next.